I see a black man and one man, I think of strength, black empowerment we have within, building community development. Let's continue to build our own. Let's continue to stay strong. Motivation, no matter the hate, no stopping. You just go. Listen up to Quan, John, and Queen P for giving us a voice. Speak up for what's yours and yell and make that noise. We are kings and we are queens. Melanated royalty, just getting started. Loving self, self and knowledge. Stack that wealth. Motivational motors, y'all.
There are some things, though, I feel like I am in a position to be able to teach my kids because my mom, she homeschooled my siblings and part-time me. So I feel like I have what it takes to do it. But there are fundamentals in like mathematics and phonics and things like that I feel like at that early age they need to be able to do it. But like you said, we need to be able to set time aside to teach them the things that they aren't learning. So like financial literacy needs to be taught day one. That's being taught kindergarten. I don't care.
That's right.
And you're not going to be taught in
in
school, so we have to teach that. But I think another issue with homeschooling your children for parents who do have time on their hands, not a lot of parents are equipped, whether it be mentally or they're in their own educational history, to be able to homeschool their child.
That's a great point. You're right. You're right. Because what about the parents who probably didn't finish school for whatever reason? Right. You know what I mean? So that's a great point. Right.
But you said emotionally, or even the patience, like I alluded to with Brother Rashidi. You got to have that. That's paramount. You got to before you even think about the educational component. Do you have the patience to sit down with your child? You understand? On a day-to-day basis. You know what I'm saying? You know, because of course you might love your child face value, but do you have the patience to go on top of the love for the child? You know what I'm saying?
They say that we all experience that one moment where you're sitting at the dinner table and you're trying to figure out that math problem, and mama, she yelling at you because you don't know 3 + 4, and she repeats the question 400 times, like you're supposed to just remember.
You know, and I think that's where the parenting comes in at, because I've said this before, Portia, with me and my wife, you know what I mean? When it comes to the mathematics and the English, I'm the guy that my daughter goes to. When it comes to the science or the arts and crafts component, creative component, that's my wife's thing. So I think as a people, Black people, it's like, you got to know what your thing is, because everyone has their thing. Right. And it's like, you can't, it's like, I'm not into we have a leader and we're looking up to this guy to lead us to the promised land. No. Rashidi has this thing. Portia Mystique has this thing. Quan John has this thing. Let's put it together in the pot, stir it up, and let's have some soup. You know what I'm saying? We all eat. You know what I'm saying? And I think in the perfect world, that's what it's supposed to be like.
Exactly. Right. But when it comes to education, I think a big part of that is actually answered for the majority, right? Because you have Montessori schools, and you have these, I think K-12 is one of them. It's a part online. Well, no, K-12 is a fully online school, but they provide the curriculum, and your child just, goes through the curriculum and you help them when it's necessary. But I feel like we have a lot of Black schools, right? Black public schools and even Black private schools. But are there any Black-owned online education systems? Because I think that's what we need. Because if parents do not have the time nor the patience to be able to homeschool their children, if there was a Black school that created a curriculum for K-12 and it's all online, then the child can do the same thing that they do with K-12, or I can't think of any other ones. K-12 is the only one I know.
I know what you're talking about.
Other curriculum like that, any other school. And tuition is free, but it's fully online. But if it was a Black curriculum created by us and for us, we can make sure that we implement all of the right information, all of the right history, all of the right financial literacy, all of that education we can incorporate ourselves, so we can be taught that way.
Right. I think that's pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Boyce Watkins, he got the literacy curriculum for the kids, the financial literacy. Yeah, man. And I think that's groundbreaking right there.
Yeah, for children.
Honestly,
that's just
groundbreaking,
right? That course needs to be included in an entire school, in an entire system.
Right.
Yeah.
We need to make that happen.
I mean, Brother Rashidi, you're an educator yourself. I mean, tell us about the onset of you teaching our children how to play chess in that? How did it begin? And how could a parent that lives in the Hampton Roads area get their kid involved in this, man? If you are taking, you know, like applicants.
Right. Okay, I started because man, I got a story for everything, right?
Sure.
So,
do your thing, baby.
I started okay, now the chess club, I started that in 2015, right?
Okay.
I started that right after the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March, right?
Okay.
Man, listen, man. I think I'll probably be on like a lifetime high from that experience. I'm talking like, did you go? Did you happen to go?
No.
So, man, it was beautiful, man. I'm talking black faces I'm talking a sea of black faces as far as the eye can see. Man. I mean, it was crowded out there, of course. And we was extremely patient with each other.
Right.
It was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. So what happened was a fire was lit. You know what I'm saying? A fire was lit in me. You know what I'm saying? Like after the fact, I didn't want to go back home. Right. Because I'm gonna keep it funny with you, man. I almost found myself being one of those dudes who's always talking about how the youth ain't got no respect. You know, this, that, and the third, you know, and I had to catch myself. Right. So then I thought, okay, well, I don't necessarily have the charisma to move men, you know, say like Brother Malcolm or Brother Martin and those great men, right? So I thought, well, you know, there's chess. You know, I taught all my sons how to play. And I can explain it in a way that makes it fun. So that's when I thought, you know what? Instead of talking about how disrespectful the youth are and this, that, and the third, let me go ahead and fill that void. Let me do something. Let me stop talking and do something. So, I think like a month after the march, that's when I started it. I started the club and made it, I designed it specifically for indigenous boys, if you will. Right. And mainly for indigenous boys because, so take like Latinos and Caucasians and so on and so forth. Outside of the fact that we, you know, breathe the same air, we got 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 legs. Outside of that, we're extremely different.
Welcome to the magical melanated mountains of Black beauty. This is the Emancipation Movement. And we're just 2 months away from our holiday. Yes, our holiday. I'm talking about Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is derived from the Swahili phrase Matunda ya Kwanza, which means first fruits. Swahili is a Bantu language spoken in Eastern and Southern African countries. Kwanzaa is a Pan-African holiday created in 1966 by Dr. Maulana Karenga, a professor of African Studies at CSU Long Beach. Kwanzaa is a 7-day holiday that takes place from December 26th to January 1st. It was created out of the desire to create a holiday for us, both Black Americans and those from the African diaspora. But most importantly, it was created to instill pride in ourselves during a time when we were told being Black was wrong. But we all know Black is beautiful. During the 7 days of Kwanzaa, we dance, we sing, we tell stories, we eat, and we discuss one of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. Each day is dedicated to one of those principles. Day 1 is Umoja, which means unity. Day 2, Kujichagulia, which means self-determination. Day 3 is Ujima, which is collective work and responsibility. Day 4, Ujama, which means cooperative economics. Day 5, Nia, which is purpose. Day 6, Kumba, which is creativity. And the last day of Kwanzaa, day 7, is Imani, which means faith. Whether you celebrate Kwanzaa with your family or you've never celebrated Kwanzaa before, join us this year in the celebration of our holiday. Every night of Kwanzaa at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, melanated royalty from both the US and Africa will come together via Zoom to keep the tradition alive. If you're new to this and don't know exactly what to do, don't worry. Over the course of the next few days, we'll be releasing more videos that will give you a little bit more history and more information on how to properly prepare for this year's Kwanzaa celebration.
If you haven't done it yet, join the Emancipation Movement on Facebook, like this video, share, and subscribe. We hope to see you soon. Bye.
We're different.
That's right.
I don't care where you go. Doesn't matter where you go. Here in America, over on the continent, the Caribbean, wherever. Our experience is just different. I'll go as far as saying if you're darker, you know, regardless of where you are, your experience is just different.
It is.
Like we can experience things. We could walk into a room and not one word can be said, and we could feel something.
Yep.
I don't know if that is considered mental warfare, but it's definitely real. It's like it's crazy because you can't explain it, but you feel it. You just know it's there, right? So that's the type of thing I address things like that in the game of chess. You know what I mean? I address things like that, like you know, because think about chess, right? It's a game of sacrifice, strategy. You're gonna take some L's. You know what I'm saying? You got to weigh out the options. You know what I'm saying? Is this risk worth it? And then sometimes you lose the game. You know what I mean? But losing the game is one thing. But losing the game is one thing. But not knowing how you lost, that's the real loss. So yeah, that's what got me started, and started as far as starting the chess club. I wanted to fill a void and be a part of the solution. Like the chess club, this is my contribution to the struggle, if you will. Right. It's my contribution. I'm not heavy on religion. In fact, I don't do religion at all. If I teach youngsters to believe in anything or anybody, I encourage them to believe in themselves. I think there's a huge shortage of Black folk, particularly Black children, who believe in themselves. You know, we put these huge amounts of beliefs and things in other people, but not a whole lot in ourselves. We need to look in the mirror and learn to love who we see.
That's right.
You know, start there. When you love yourself, you can't help but love people who look like you, and so on and so forth.
That's right.
You know. So, but as far as joining the club, it's pretty simple. You just contact me. I let you know what the club is about. I have to do that because sure, the club is specifically designed for Black boys. Well, Black children, period. Because now I have young girls in the group now as well. Right. So it's specifically designed for them, but I have to let parents know, because just because we're all brothers and sisters doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's with it. Right. Because some people don't come back. Right. You know, some people they don't come back. You know. And what you think the reasoning? Well, it could be an array, but what you think is the fundamental reasoning? Why wouldn't a parent come back and bring their child to something as innovating and groundbreaking as this? They just don't see it. They don't see the vision. They just don't see the vision. Wow. They just don't see it. Some okay, when you're I don't like using the word woke or conscious, but when you're aware, people take that as being angry. Right. And figure, I don't want my child to be angry. You walk into my shop, as soon as you walk in, there's a picture of Assata Shakur, Kwame Toure on the wall, Brother Dick Gregory, the late Dick Gregory, Angela Davis, and it's Malcolm and Marcus Garvey, and my big Pan-African flag on the wall. Yeah, so people see that and automatically assume that, you know, this y'all angry and I don't want to teach my kid because they don't know. So I don't know if that ties into what our sister was talking about in terms of insecurity. It could be that. Maybe, you know, there's a shortage of us who believe in ourselves. So they see that and assume, I don't want you teaching my kid that. You know, gotcha. But it all comes down to not seeing the vision. They just don't see it. But it's cool. I mean, they still got room to grow. Maybe one day they'll come. That's right.